Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Yeah. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome. Yeah. Hot like fire on the pond. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We came for one man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. Yeah, I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the prize. Man so tough, but mans keep walking. Yeah, just too sharp with the prize. White girls, let it tell me I'm awesome. Yeah, hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch me, please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
It's been a long week, yeah? Because the weekend, I think, felt especially long given all the other events that, this week it's kind of felt like a month. But it's Friday, and I still think everything's so fresh that I'm not necessarily feeling Friday vibes. But I am excited for the weekend to come because we got a good old-fashioned disaster movie, tentpole franchise, box office, hopefully smash hit, because we want the movies to do well, coming out this weekend. Twisters. I know some people have already saw it in the audience. They tell me 40X experience, not as bad as Dune, not as bad as Mission Impossible. Only it really gets going towards the end. And I've had a lot of people thanking me for the Bunch of Crunch tip. That is just an elite pairing.
What's the tip?
Bunch of Crunch paired with red wine. Elite combo. It's like wine and cheese. I'm
Pinot
telling you.
Noir?
Now, chocolate and people will tell you chocolate and red wine do go together, but Bunch of Crunch specifically because you have the texture of it.
Caramel.
Well, no, it's not caramel.
Butter toffee?
No. It's like Nestle Crunch, but they made these little Bunch of Crunch balls.
Oh.
Wait, Roy's never had
You've
Bunch
never
of
had
Crunch?
Bunch of Crunch?
No, it's the popcorn that has like little caramel.
It's not
in it.
popcorn. No.
That's Cracker Jack.
Has Roy ever been to the movies?
Yes, I've been to.
You
Well,
just
you
described
just-
Cracker Jack.
You remember Nestle Crunch bars, right? The
Yeah.
big bars. I think in the 90s they had like an NBA tie-in where it was like a mystery. Ooh, I get an NBA team if I open up my Nestle Crunch. They made like smaller, bite-sized versions of the Nestle Crunch.
Oh.
That I guess, what is it? Like,
Crunch
is it
and
rice?
Munch.
How does it...
Crunch and Munch is what I was thinking of. That's what
I was going to say, that's Bunch of Crunch. It literally says it.
What is the thing that makes it crunchy?
The little Rice Krispie.
Is
thing?
it? Is it a Rice Krispie?
Close to it. Probably
Yeah.
not Rice Krispie, but a crispy rice piece.
Let's get down to the bottom of what actually makes a Bunch of crunch. But everybody's, excited for the weekend. Some more than others because they've got this movie to look forward to.
Are we going to get Glenn Powell fatigue at some point?
Yes.
I'm not. You think so? You're
Not
there?
Yes.
yet. He's
Yes.
in everything.
Well, he's going to start being in everything.
He's in a lot right now.
You found your Kevin Hart.
Ooh, no.
He's white people Kevin Hart.
Yes, he's going to be in everything. Every
I hope not.
single thing.
I don't think he's there yet. Well, let's check the IMDb. What does he have cooking? Because
right,
now
let's
we're
check that
starting.
right now.
We're starting to see like all those guys that made their name in Top Gun Maverick. They were working on a bunch of projects, and so they're all starting to stack up. But I think this is just the start of the Glenn Powell experience. If you're sick already of Glenn Powell, this spells bad news because that dude's going to be around for a long time, especially if this movie hits the way that most people are forecasting, and I use that word on purpose.
Hey.
But this is all a way to get into the 1996 original, which is just Twister. Even
Wow.
though there were multiple Twisters in that film, as part of the ramp up for Twisters, I, like many, have revisited the 1996 film. Now, I remember, this is a core memory of mine, is going to the movie theater and watching Twister, and it was a great movie, way better than it had any right to be, or at least that's how I remembered it.
Great performances.
Oh, incredible. And I also realized that a lot of my emotional connection to the franchise wasn't just the movie. Billy, it was the ride at Universal Studios,
Yeah.
which wasn't really a ride.
No.
You like walk through.
Yeah.
It was a lot like the original Ghostbusters. Now, I am really dating myself because maybe Billy, maybe Roy experienced the original like early 90s attraction that was at that spot. So I think it went Ghostbusters, Twister, and now it's the Jimmy Fallon experience. Was I the only person that actually remembers the Ghostbusters experience there?
I remember going and taking pictures with the Ghostbusters. They have like the Ghostbuster car drive through. You take pictures with them. You're like, oh my God, the Ghostbusters. And then you buy like a Ghostbusters costume. I like the Ghostbusters.
They
Is that
still
where
have
Earthquake
that.
used to be?
No, Earthquake is now Fast and Furious.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
Man.
I've read reportedly might already be on its way
Fast
out.
and Furious is a
I'm
terrible
just like-
ride.
I'm-
Awful ride.
I'm just imagining the old Twister ride where you walk through and you kind of experience a Twister in front of you. You see like wind come. I'm like now imagining you do that same thing, but instead it's like some schmarmy like, hey man, good to see you.
Yeah,
It's just like it's just like an over laughing of like, that is the funniest thing I have ever heard.
Yeah.
And you just keep walking through and it's just someone overreacting to whatever you're saying.
So I did that Jimmy Fallon attraction for the first time ever just a couple weeks ago. I had always avoided it for reasons I like to keep to myself. But so I'm waiting in this line. Number one, I had an express pass, and it took me still like 50 minutes to get through this line.
Oh, I
And
hate that happened to you, man.
You do actually a pretty good Jimmy Fallon.
That's good.
Why does he have a ride?
It's a
NBC.
parent
Why
company.
wouldn't I?
Parent company.
I mean, come on.
Let's be careful with the parent company.
Parent
so
company.
the parent company put Jimmy Fallon on this really cool marquee
It's a fun
spot.
attraction.
Yeah, well, that's what it caught me by surprise. Like, because I was like over the wait. I'm like, there's nothing express about this wait. But then the actual ride was pretty cool. But I still missed. Like, if Universal announced right now that they're going to open up the park as it was in 1991, I'd sign up for that. I'd much rather that because of all the nostalgia. So I was sad to see Ghostbusters go, but it was replaced by Twisters. And core memories of mine are walking through that line, and I think we actually have sound. If Chris, just search in our J Drive Paxton, because I think in the club one time I just had Bill Paxton introducing himself in that Twisters attraction actually. So I remember Bill Paxton introducing himself. I'm Bill Paxton. Of course you are. We've seen the movie. He should have introduced himself as the Extreme. The Extreme, which is a character he also plays in that.
I'm Bill Paxton.
Yeah, it was so much of a core memory that I thought I'm just going to shoehorn this into the club one day. But it also
I'm Bill Paxton.
it also Mandela affected me a little bit because I could have sworn that the cow scene in Twister was at the drive-in movie theater that they're showing The Shining, just because the attraction had the cow.
No, it was
spinning.
nighttime. You wouldn't be able to see the cow, right?
So the cow actually, like, he's driving through like this one road that's going between two bodies of water where two Twisters converge, and it's the cow. And I remember
There's two cows, by the way.
No, no.
Oh, it was the same cow that went
Same
by
cow.
twice.
Same cow. The girl from
Should have
Lost
called the
Boys.
movie Cows.
Same cow. The girl from Lost Boys, which I think she owns like a WNBA team or owned a WNBA team at one point. She says it might be the same cow. So I remember I remember being transported in the movie theater. This is the most amazing thing, the special effects. Where does the future go? And then I watched it again last night, and I learned that Tony also watched it last night. Only you had the experience of watching it for the first time. So you didn't have any of the nostalgia boxes checked the way that I did. You're just experiencing this thing as like a big budget Hollywood blockbuster that has spawned this sequel. Is it a sequel or a reboot or reimagining? I would assume it's a sequel because they added an S to it. And that typically means it's a sequel. But is this a direct sequel? Do they harken back to the first one?
I believe they called it a sequel.
So it's a
media.
sequel, like
Yeah.
several years later. So hopefully that means the old characters are canon. Now, a lot of them have departed, which is sad. But I watched it last night, Tony, and I was like, wow, these effects do not hold up.
You know, I mean, it's 1995 or 96 or whatever it was.
Dude, that scene when they show the satellite in outer space.
Yeah, it was like I drew it like on Word, like on Paint or
it's
whatever.
like on MS Paint.
moving
It's so
sideways.
bad.
Were you talking about Jamie Gertz,
Who's
the actress?
Yeah, that was her.
So she owns
Yeah.
part. Her and her husband own part of the Brewers and the Atlanta Hawks.
So, but do they also own the
They're
Spirit?
They're
Or-
rich.
So I think that did they have to sell the Spirit, because I think there was a big WNBA controversy because of like some things that they've said and some things that they
No.
donated to.
I don't know.
No.
Yeah,
The-
so-
the former senator had to sell her part of the team.
Yeah. So I remember there was like an NBA draft where she was a representative for the Atlanta Hawks. I was like, where's this girl the girl that dated Michael in Lost Boys is all of a sudden like representing the Atlanta Hawks? So she's like a billionaire now. But Tony, I'm really interested to hear your perspective on your first ever viewing of the Twister movie that came out in 1996.
Again, I went in with a clear head. I was like, I'm not going to let people say, because I've heard, hey, it's kind of cheesy, whatever, from different people. I've heard it's great from you. So it's like, I need to go in and make my own thoughts on it. So I was watching and I was like, yeah, movie about tornadoes from 1996. Cool. Yeah. All right. The first scene where Joe's dad is spoiler alert, getting into their storm shelter within the first 4 minutes of the movie.
Gotta hold those doors.
And he's holding the door, and you can see the thing shaking.
Did you pop for the dog looking like Toto from The Wizard of Oz?
Toby, yeah, we needed Toby inside. So we were like, come on, Toby, get in there. And then all of a sudden, as he can't hold it anymore, he gets flung kind of like a boomerang into the tornado. I was like,
he gets sucked out. Which
he could have just stood back.
Just stay back.
Yeah.
Just stay back. So there was no door.
Fine.
They were fine.
Yeah.
They were totally fine. Just hang back.
Yeah.
Just
Did we ever find him or no?
No, he died.
You got to
I know
protect
he
the
died.
perimeter.
Did
You know,
they
that guy was keeping a perimeter. All
Was
right?
it as bad as Kevin Costner's scene in Superman?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, how did he die again?
He just stood there and looked back at Clark. It was like,
Yeah.
see ya.
Now, have we gotten an answer on whether or not this is a direct sequel?
Yes, this is what's being referred to as a standalone sequel. So essentially, you can see this without having seen the first one. They'll have its own plot, but it will carry over some of the elements and narratives from the first one. So those people would still exist.
Does that all right? So that would mean that people from the first film.
I don't know if
canon.
I don't know if there are cameos. I don't know anything like that. But I assume that means you're right, canon at least.
What's the connection between Powell and Paxton? I need to know.
The tornado.
Yeah, well, the storm.
Cousins.
Well, maybe he's
Let's find out.
as extreme because remember the lore when they go to Joe's house and they explain how Bill Paxton got the nickname The Extreme is because one day he went out naked, totally naked with a bottle of Jack Daniels, and as the Twister was coming at him, and he said, "Hey, have a drink," and he tossed the bottle of Jack Daniels into the Twister, and the bottle never came down. That's the legend as to why he.
So naturally, he's extreme.
Yeah, but he Bill Paxton tragically died very shortly after he came on our show, which is remember when our show was cursed?
Tornado got him.
No, not a tornado.
Oh,
I'm Bill Paxton.
So he's gone. Philip Seymour Hoffman is also gone.
You really saw his range in that movie.
Him and that Oklahoma Sooners cap.
All right, so it's a great character, quotable in the film, character depth of a puddle.
I mean, come on.
He is just there for vibes. He spends 90% of his lines in that film are "Woo!
And
Who's got it better?"
He also said food.
Yeah, food.
He loves May.
Oh,
Is it May? Miss
Is
May?
it May or Joe? No, it may.
Meg.
Old
Meg.
lady.
Meg.
Yeah.
Meg.
He
I
loves May.
thought someone was. You're
Is it
right.
Meg?
Joe is.
Meg. Yeah.
All right. So Joe Joe is Helen Hunt, right?
Yes.
All right. Back to Tony. Your experience with this film because disaster movies are interesting in that it's not conventional action. It's not your hero socking a baddie in the face. The baddie is something that you cannot control. It's a force of nature. So the action is you basically
a baddie?
the
villain.
Okay.
Yeah, your big baddie.
Different.
Your
baddies.
final boss in this film is the dreaded F5 tornado, the finger of God, as it's been described. So is it a file or phobe from you?
On first watch, I think it's a file. I might watch it again before I watch the next one because my wife hasn't seen it, so I'll probably watch it again with her.
Rewatchable, certainly.
So I'm gonna give it another eye with a more discerning look now. Obviously looking for character development.
Yeah.
Obviously looking for more
Really seize
intense
on
scenes.
Philip Seymour Hoffman's
Yeah.
character depth in this one.
I found a pamphlet with Universal Studios opening day attractions. If you'd like to go over that at some point.
Run through that.
Yeah, this
Because
was like 1991.
I took
believe.
Juliet, my daughter, to Universal Studios for the first time in her life, and it was a bit nostalgic because I was looking for all the connection points. Now, apparently, I just missed this brand new parade that they have, Billy, where they harken back to all the original attractions. There's a Back to the Future float.
There's some weird ones
Ghostbusters.
on here that I'm sure they left out.
All right,
I'm
so
gonna tell you.
let's go through it.
So June 7th, 1990, I believe, was opening day. So I'm going to read you, I guess, the different areas of the park at the time and what they had there. So there's the front lot. That's where you walk in, presumably. And then they have Production Central And here are the attractions at Production Central. Murder, She Wrote, Mystery Theater. I opened a theme park with Murder, She Wrote, Mystery Theater.
I have a memory of that.
You do not.
A core memory. So
A core memory
in that I went to that attraction. They asked the crowd. I must have been like 6 years old.
How many core memories are people allowed to have?
Well, it's a core memory in that it was a part of who I am. You know how I know useless trivia and how I can pull like actors' names that so like in this Murder, She Wrote attraction, they would ask the audience, hey, we can put any celebrity in this scene that you want, and they thought it would be like really cool. And so they asked the audience, who would you like to be in this scene? And without hesitation, I was a lone voice that answered Tom Selleck. And so they put Tom Selleck into that scene. But I remember the reaction to me saying Tom Selleck is, how the hell does a 7-year-old know who Tom Selleck is?
He was big in the 1990s.
And it was like cruel.
He might
Mr.
lose
Baseball.
his ranch. Are you guys worried about him?
He's going to lose his ranch?
Well, he was thinking because his show Blue Bloods got canceled, I think, and he's like, I very much made it seem like he's working paycheck to paycheck. He's like, this is a big ranch. I may lose my ranch. So he's looking for another gig.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
Also, you could just sell your ranch and retire.
Or he can just follow Busser Olney's advice, and if he ever wants to bet
the
ranch
ranch
on something, he
But
can
then what do you do with
salvage
2
it.
ranches if he can't afford one? How does he
Well,
afford 2?
You just flip one.
You rent one. Yeah.
I guess that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah,
rent
yeah,
one,
yeah.
then pay for the
All right,
other.
so
Yeah,
Murder,
exactly.
She Wrote.
Murder, She Wrote.
That's a banger.
Mystery Theater. Then also in Production Central, Alfred Hitchcock, The Art of Making Movies, which was great.
Oh, I remember that.
I have
My
another-
dad would always make me go to that.
I have another core memory there. My dad played Norman Bates as one big great reveal at the end. Yeah, remember when they turn around and they reveal it's an audience member the entire time?
The Alfred Hitchcock one is where Shrek is now. That used to be the Alfred
Well,
Hitchcock.
Shrek isn't there anymore.
Shrek isn't
Okay,
there.
wherever Shrek is. What's there now?
They got rid of Shrek?
Yeah,
They have
Shrek-
another
they got-
Despicable Me
Yeah,
ride.
it's
They
like
have
a-
2 of
on
them.
the other
They have
side?
two?
Because
It's literally on the
Wow.
same side right when you walk in at Universal
it's like a
Studios.
villain con.
Despicable Me, Despicable Me villains.
You
Yeah.
could never have too much.
the left Despicable
Yeah,
Me used
yeah.
to be Jetsons,
Correct.
correct?
No.
No.
Nope.
Damn
It
it.
used to be the Fantastic World of
You'll get one.
Hanna-Barbera.
It was on the right.
Yeah.
Which is their opening day. The Fantastic World of Hanna-Barbera.
Hanna-Barbera, which became Jimmy Neutron.
But Jetsons were part of that.
Jimmy Neutron's what I
Jetsons were
remember.
part of it.
Yeah, all right. So I'm visualizing this. I'm
Then there's
walking in.
Production Tour Nickelodeon Studios, which was a dream of every child to attend.
When you toured it, what were they in active production on? Because
Clarissa Explains It All.
Whoa, you got lucky.
Yeah, we walked around like in the rafters and we saw the set of Clarissa Explains It All.
I got Roundhouse, which was a short-lived variety show, and then when I went back, I got Kenan and Kel.
Oh, Kenan and Kel's a banger though. I'm jealous. My cousins went when they were doing a shooting of All That. They didn't get to see it, but oh my God, it's what dreams are made of. All That.
Yeah, kind of changes the core memory a little bit now in retrospect.
Or what would you do? Oh, imagine what would you
Oh,
do?
Dude, Mark
That'd
Summers.
been so
Yes.
great.
Mark Summers.
Yeah.
Flying fountain out front.
All right, so we're in
All
we're
right,
just
so now we're
walking
moving.
in.
Now we're headed over to New York.
Yeah,
In New York, they had Kongfrontation, which was incredible.
it smelled amazing.
Better than the present King Kong, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
it smelled great. Hit pausing, backtracking just a little bit to Nickelodeon Studios. Do you remember the television special in which they put together the time capsule, which is still there?
have they not dug it up yet?
No, I think they dig it up in like 2040 or something.
I
like
got to be
that.
honest with you. When you go there now and you see that they turned Nickelodeon Studios into Blue Man Group, but it still has like the Nickelodeon Studios look to it. It was just painted over to be for Blue Man
Yeah.
Group. Very sad. Even though Blue Man Group, I'm a fan.
Yeah,
Like
I
it.
don't-
Blue
I
Man
don't-
Group's a fun time.
It's fun.
Can we look up if Blue Man Group is still there? Because I don't think it is anymore.
What? What's going on in Orlando?
Because I was looking for the paint scheme and
Get
I just
it
saw like
together.
a gray studio there. All right,
I need to look
Confrontation.
this
Great attraction to wait in line in. It smelled great. It looked like dirty early 80s.
You had Big King Kong at the end that you'd stand
Take a
inside
picture
of,
with.
take a picture. Yeah.
It is now the Mummy.
Classic. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
The
so
Mummy's great though.
Mummy's-
Mummy, underrated roller coaster.
great coaster.
Did they change it?
I think the Mummy's now a Lester Holt ride.
It is not. Mummy
Chuck
in
Todd.
Universal Studios Hollywood is very different from Mummy in Universal
Oh,
Studios.
is it the new
Orlando.
Mummy?
No, it's not the Tom Cruise Mummy.
Oh.
That would be awesome, but that movie flopped. It was
Yeah.
supposed to be the center of the Dark Universe, which is now respawned in Epic Universe, but won't
What
have
is a
any of
dark
those.
universe?
Dark Universe is all the classic
Sounds
Universal
scary.
monsters, which I'm sure you're going to get around to as we continue this tour of the early 90s universe.
All right, so next is
Frankenstein and-
Ghostbusters, and then there's Screen Test Home Video Adventure coming soon. I don't know what that was.
Did it ever come?
I don't know.
Came.
Coming soon.
Don't come.
Don't
All right,
come.
so now we're headed over to
never
Hollywood. where we have the gory, gruesome, and grotesque horror makeup show.
That's still around.
If you say so, I don't know.
No, it is. It's still like in that corner across from the old like 1950s diner where there's all those cars there. That corner still the same.
All right, and then finally in Hollywood, there's How to Make a Mega Movie Deal, which sounds like us talking about podcasts.
I don't.
That says coming soon, so I don't know if they ever.
I don't think it ever came.
They ever did that.
Don't
yeah,
come.
Don't come.
So then we head off to San Francisco / Amity, and you have Earthquake, the big one. Dynamite Night Stunt Spectacular. I love a stunt spectacular. Big fan of stunt
You look like
spectacular.
a guy that likes the Indiana Jones. Like,
Oh, I
show, too.
love
dude, that's
the
great.
Like, watch out for that ball.
Yeah, you got to go every time.
He always
you're
gets
there.
crushed at first, and you're like, oh, they actually really got hurt here, and they
Yeah.
always fool me.
Like, wait.
Yeah.
So, and then Steve one time was Indiana Jones on an episode of Full House.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't really Steve.
So she thought like they went to like
It was
a sad
DJ, and
commercial
she was
break.
missing Steve because they broke up, and she was just missing Steve. And then she looks up and is like, "Whoa, Steve's Indiana Jones!" But it wasn't really Steve. Spoiler
Those
alert.
Disney episodes of Full House. It was really the apex of that show for me. So did the Dynamite Night Stunt Spectacular briefly become Miami Vice Stunt
I have no idea.
Spectacular? Jeremy looked that up. Now it's like a drone show.
Isn't it? Like, is that where Fear Factor is? Do they still have
No,
Fear Factor?
Fear
They got rid of
Factor.
Fear Factor.
So like that, like Fear Factor stage
Mm-hmm.
is just seasonal. It just basically exists for
Really?
the Bill and Ted show on Halloween Horror Nights. There's nothing going on right now.
Well,
There
there's
was
Fear
indeed
Factor.
a Miami Vice stunt show at Universal Studios.
Wow.
That's why
You're
you.
good, dude.
Look at
Dude,
that.
Fall Guy actually reminded me because
There's
like,
a GQ article that says the Miami Vice stunt show from
Danny?
the Fall Guy is real. That's the headline. So look at you, man.
All right, so then we
Core
have the
memories.
Expo Center where there's E.T. Adventure, which contractually has to be there forever.
still smells the same.
I love it, and I still get freaked out when now they like you put your name in and then ET says your name on the way out.
Thank you, friend Michael.
No idea how they do that.
It's
Just
amazing
great
science.
technology.
When you say that area of the park, you want to talk about core memories, it just popped into my head. Me and my family, to this day, we still talk about this. A random British little kid walking by and our family overhearing, Woody Woodpecker, he's the best. That's a core memory for
Is that
me.
like who won?
It's kind of like who won. Like
Who
I'm
won?
telling you, to this day, anytime anyone in my family says Woody Woodpecker, our whole family, he's the best. It was just some like random 5-year-old 20 years ago just walking by our family.
It's a fun little coaster. the Woody
So
Woodpecker
it wasn't
one.
part of the original. Woody is now Trolls, and Feifel Goes West. That play area wasn't a part of the original park launch.
No, it's not.
But it is now like a DreamWorks world, and I have a new core memory that was unlocked a couple of weeks ago in which I was just sitting down minding my own business while my family rode the Trolls coaster because I had actually pinched a nerve in my neck earlier just lifting my daughter up in the air because I'm old now. And I was just chilling, minding my own business, waiting for my family to get off a coaster. And some lady who, to me, appeared high on meth said, "Mind your own effing business."
That's just like my memory.
To you?
Yeah. Well, I couldn't tell. Like, there were 3 guys. It didn't make me feel great about them because the other 2 were in wheelchairs and I was just sitting nursing a pinched neck. And she walked past. She walked like 15 yards and then she turned back and she barked at the 3 of us, "Mind your own effing business." And it was shocking. So that was
Did you look over the other guys like?
I
what's
was
her
trying
deal?
to figure out, like, but the other guys, they were like Trump at the RNC. Like, it must have been me. She must have thought I was looking at her when I was just like looking off in the distance, wondering what happened to Feifel.
All right, so then there was the Animal Actors stage, which I think is still there. There's like a similar thing. It's just like, an animal show. And then there's Back to the Future, the ride, coming soon, which is now the Simpsons ride, which I think they're closing and making something else, right?
Are they?
I thought I heard
They
that.
can't close Springfield. So I think elements of the Back to the Future ride are now in City Walk because they have an escape room adventure. Billy, I think you'd actually like this. Have you seen the escape rooms at Universal now?
I haven't been to Universal in a very long time.
So they have a huge building that is dedicated escape rooms, and one is like a Back to the Future themed escape room, and the other is a Jurassic Park themed escape room.
I think that The Simpsons is going to go away in part because Disney owns The Simpsons now. Same thing with like Spider-Man at Universal, at Islands of Adventure. I think when Disney bought Fox, they ran into issues where like they had contracts at these theme parks, but they would expire at some point.
All right, and is that the end of like?
That was it. That's all that was their opening day.
I've never been to Universal. Can we talk about anything else? like anything else. So I think I actually have been to Universal one time, but I think I was like 10 or 11 years old, and I went to the University of Iowa, so most of my childhood memories are gone. I kind of drank those all away at school. This has really been an unenjoyable.
Were you a
start
theme
of
park
the-
girly at any point in time?
I like roller coasters, but like not
Still?
like, sure.
Yeah.
I don't know the last time I've been on one.
Yeah. Do you throw your hands up? Like,
It's fun.
you get into it?
Carowinds is like the North Carolina amusement park, and
Yeah.
it's great, but it's not like super themey. The roller coaster's just fast. Roller coasters have become less of an enjoyable experience, not for me, but as my dad has gotten older, he's just turned progressively more into an asshole, in a nice way. He will sit next to people on roller coasters every single time. Like if there's a 3 group of us, he's like, let me sit with the stranger so he can look at them before the ride and go, I only threw up once the last time I rode this, to make the experience miserable for them.
Classic
I'm like,
dad
why would-
joke.
Oh,
like,
good dad
but they
stuff.
don't get it.
Good
They
dad.
don't, and he is very like sharp with his delivery in a way that it's like very hard to tell that he's joking. So it's the whole time of us just like having fun and looking back at someone just being like terrified to be sitting next to my dad. But yeah, Universal don't particularly care.
Not a core memory for you.
No.
What's the better joke? I only threw up once last time, or I think it's loose. Yeah. Because I see Chris Cody as
I think it's loose. Is good.
Chris,
I would be, but I kind of get terrified. So
That
I'm
it
the
might
guy.
actually
I'm
be
the
loose?
guy. I need that last click up against.
Yes.
Yeah.
If there's like any sort of like thing, I am freaking out.
Dude.
Like, I need that thing. I'll put it uncomfortable on me, but if I get that last click, where it's like I can't even
Where you
move,
can't
I
breathe?
feel I'm in heaven.
So the
That's where I'm in
metabolism,
heaven.
the metabolism has slowed down in the late 30s to now. Like I'm sitting in roller coaster seats, and I'm like, is it that tight for everybody else? Like Rock and Roller Coaster,
He's looking around like,
the Rip Ride Rocket. It was just like, this is how tight we decided to make everything.
Carowinds looks awesome. There's
No,
so
Carowinds,
many rides.
It's a great amusement park. You would really like it, Mike, because a lot of it is NASCAR themed.
Oh, amazing.
They
I'm
have like
in.
a Dale Earnhardt roller coaster. It's called someone look it up. It's called the something. And
The
it's
Intimidator.
Oh, I
Yeah,
found
that's what
it.
it's called.
Yeah. The Intimidator.
really
Petty
good.
one?
They have like
king.
a Hornets one, which like, bleh, but it's really really fast. They always like on the commercials. I think they're making up the stats, but they're like, it's the fastest Giga coaster on the East Coast. Which I don't know.
What's a
No clue. No clue. But it's a great amusement park, not in the sense of like what I imagine Disney and Universal are like, where like it's very themed there and there's like, more like kiddish stuff. Where Carowinds is like, you're going to get the fastest ride possible.
wait a second. Isn't
it's
Carol?
Thunderstriker
They
now?
changed
It
the
used to be
name.
Intimidator.
See how I got
now it's
that
called
wrong?
Thunderstriker.
They couldn't get the licensing.
They had one called the Nighthawk. That was really cool.
Isn't
and you
Richard
could
Richard
push
Childress,
on that.
Childress didn't want to give it up. Well, that's a whole thing with the family, anyways.
Isn't Carowinds where these two people broke up on Love Is Blind? Does anybody else remember that?
Yes.
You know what? I
It
think
is.
you're
What,
right.
what are the names
What
of the
a
people?
pull.
Yes.
Where they were like in the theme park
Was that
having
Jimmy
dinner.
and
Jimmy?
Yeah.
What's her name?
the girl that
Yeah, they
said
got
she
back
looked like
together.
Megan Fox?
Yeah, Megan
Yes.
Fox and Jimmy.
So she's like,
They
hey,
were back together after all that.
I'm pretty sure they
They
are.
Are
went
they
to
still
Car-
together?
She's like, why did you
Oh.
break up with me before Carowinds? He's like, I wanted to ride the rides.
And I get it. Those roller coasters are amazing. No disrespect.
And they like
to him.
shut down the park for them, so the wait times were nothing.
It was also the end of the show, like the end of the night. So he's like, yeah.
Her name was Chelsea.
Chelsea, I think we're going to break up. She's like, you just rode all the rides.
It was just the naming rights deal coming up. Like they had a deal and it ran through, so they renamed it.
Just retire the 3. Just retire the 3.
So how does Carowinds work? Because there's a lot of water slides
You
too.
pay
Is
them
it
money
separate?
and then they give you a ticket.
No,
and
but
you
is it
walk in.
separate tickets for the water park and then the roller coaster park, or what
I
do you
believe
do?
so. So I think you have to get a separate ticket for the water part of it, but we never really did that often. There's a separate like water park in Greensboro, which is about an hour plus away, so a lot of people would go to that. That's Wet and Wild. Carowinds was more for the roller coasters, and it was a really great amusement park to go to growing up because like it really is just about fast roller coasters.
Can
and,
we,
like, cool
can we,
roller
video
coasters.
team, if we can find what the Intimidator looked like back in its day, back before they ruined everything?
It was a really great ride.
Did it have like Good Wrench stickers everywhere?
It was red.
Red.
I
It was
see
red.
here
The
that
car's probably
the
black,
cart
if I
kind
were
of
to
looks
guess.
like
the car looks
It was
like
so
Dale's
fun.
car.
No, it was a really like they do a good job with making the roller coasters like really, really fast and more like
you seem
thrill
to have
seeker.
some sort of what feels like a steering wheel. Like you're sitting, but
Oh,
you have
that's dope.
something here.
That's dope because like the new Harry Potter ride where you can pick like the motorcycle
awesome.
or the sidecar.
The Hagrid ride is spectacular.
Yeah, like I picked
Being on the motorcycle is the best part. You don't want to be in
big
a
hog.
sidecar.
Yeah, pick the big hog.
I have a dumb question for you, Lucy. So down here,
That's
the theme
a-
parks are open year round, but I know like nationally there's like seasonal parks. Is Carowinds a seasonal park? Is it year round? Because like I went one time to Gatlinburg and Dollywood was close to Gatlinburg, but Dollywood was seasonal, so it was closed.
Yeah.
I think it's year round, but I'm not 100% positive. North Carolina, like the weather is like it's good for a good chunk of the year. Like it'll be not fun from November to February, but even then, like North Carolina, you get so many random days where it's like, oh man, it snowed 7 inches, and the next day it's 70 degrees. So I think it's I don't know. I don't know.
The
I don't
crazy
know why
thing
I even
is,
tried
like,
to answer that question. I don't know the answer.
November to February that you say is like the bad time is like the good time to go to theme parks here because it's so hot the rest of the year around where you don't want to go. Like after March, like mid-March, April until almost like mid-November, you don't really want to go to theme parks.
I'll be
very
there in
long
2
down here.
weeks, and I'm dreading how
Yeah,
hot it's going to be.
going to be
So they've
incredibly hot.
thrown up a photo of the Intimidator, and I guess they didn't want to give Good Wrench like the free pub. So it's the black paint scheme. They gave Chevy some love. You get Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s signature on it, but no Good Wrench paint scheme on that. Was there a second car that had like the Wrangler scheme? No.
No, but it is an intimidating ride. And speaking of it being like very hot at amusement parks,
Rubbing his
one
racing.
time we went there in July and it was really, really hot. And this was just as the Intimidator opened. So like the lines were super long and I got right up to the front and I passed out and they wouldn't let me on the ride. And it wasn't because I was nervous or anything. It was just because it was so hot and it was so embarrassing because they opened the gates for us to get on the ride. And I'm like, hell yeah. And immediately I hit the ground.
You passed
I
out.
passed out.
I'm not gonna lie, I probably wouldn't let you ride either. I'd just be afraid.
Seems like a liability, honestly.
They shouldn't have let me on. But I went to the nurse and they were like, yeah, girl, it's really hot. And so they gave me food and then I went on the ride.
So like
But it was so embarrassing.
8 years ago, I have a cousin-in-law, John. He's very cheap, and I made a deal with him. We went to Busch Gardens, and I said, "Tell you what, I'll pay for your ticket if when you get inside they can paint your face, and I choose what they paint your face with." He's like, "Deal." He didn't hesitate. He took the deal. So we get inside. I get his face painted like a cheetah. He passes out. Because the sun and has to get medical attention.
There's a cheetah.
As a cheetah. Let me see if I can find the photo of like all the paint on his face. He was like 34 at the time, and he just had all this cheetah paint. It was like when we were stopping for lunch. It was a scary thing at first. Whenever somebody passes out, you're always like fearing the worst. But he popped right back up. Like, what happened? And he had to receive medical treatment.
Why am I sweating?
He had to keep it the entire day. And like because he was so dehydrated, he had to go into a CVS with all that smeared cheetah. Now that is a core memory. Glenn Powell, are we just at the beginning of the Intimidator ride? Are we at the middle? Or
Yeah,
are we
I
at
think
the end?
I'm not sure exactly where we're at. I know we have 4 upcoming projects according to IMDb, and the descriptions of each of them are very different. So I'm going to bring these to you with whatever co-stars are apparently linked to them. So one is called Huntington, a young man hatches a murderous plot to inherit his family's wealth, starring Glenn Powell and Margaret Qualley.
It'd be great if that's like Paddington 4, where she was like a nemesis.
Then we have Monsanto. Young attorney Brent Wisner, played by Powell, takes on a case against Monsanto on behalf of groundskeeper Dwayne Lee Johnson. Dwayne Johnson.
There's only one way this movie goes well.
Used the company's weed killer Roundup and developed cancer despite Monsanto's toxicologist testifying to Roundup's safety. That Dwayne Lee Johnson is played by Anthony Mackie. Laura Dern will also be in this movie.
Oh, love Laura Dern. So that's like male Aaron Brockovich.
Yeah, you guys are really going to like this one. This one's called Chad Powers. A disgraced college quarterback named Russ Holliday disguises himself as Chad Powers and walks onto a struggling Southern football team to revive his football career.
This is a TV show.
Starring Glenn Powell and Steve Zahn.
That's a TV show.
TV show, you're right. That is a TV series.
So, Lucy, that's the Eli Manning character,
It was the
right?
Eli Manning character. It was like a Sports Center thing, I think, where he was like Chad Powers dressed up in a disguise and went and tried out for the Penn State football team.
Yeah.
And so it was just Eli Manning.
Thank God they need a quarterback.
Yeah. And so I actually remember seeing the tweet that they were making a movie out of this, or TV show, whatever they're doing with Glenn Powell.
Man, Omaha
but it's
just
based
gets
off a
whatever they
funny,
want done.
like a funny little sketch.
Is this like the Sudeikis thing? It was just like he did a thing for NBC, and now we're gonna make a show out of it.
Hey, but you went to the very top of the heap. That worked out.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying that's crazy that's how that came to be.
The last one is written by Stephen King and Edgar Wright, directed by Edgar Wright. The Running Man, the futuristic United States of 2025, when
What?
the world has become a dystopia.
What? They're making a Running Man movie.
But it's in 2025.
Yeah, for real. This is like 2
I don't
years
like
away.
that.
It's the futuristic world, but there's no release date. It's already 2024.
You gotta go 2055
At this
at
point,
least.
Gotta imagine
we
they're
may
gonna
be in the
push it
past.
a little bit.
No,
Change it to
I like that they
28.
wouldn't push it. I hate that. Like, let's clean up the mess. Like, Running Man was this dystopian future. Let's acknowledge the fact that, no, you're wrong. In just 12 months' time, everything is going to become Running Man.
It is funny how movies from like the 90s, when they talk about 2022, it's like looks like the Jetsons.
Yeah.
Monsanto, we can agree, is them. He's trying to grab some trophies with that one, right?
I love a good courtroom drama. Though.
Sure.
Who's going to play the Richard Dawson character in this new Running Man?
Ooh.
No one cast as
Ryan
of yet.
Seacrest?
The only person linked is Glenn Powell.
How about Matt Gaetz from 2 days ago? Yeah. So we got that was a lot of movie segments, really, and we're going to take a break from that in the next segment with David Samson. And
Should have saved it.
I'm sorry. Look, man, it's like I said, it's been a week. I'm just trying to keep this one light. It's been exhausting. Hey, let's have a timeline cleanser. Does video have? I want to do too quickly with the time that we have left. Show this video of Matthew Tkachuk taking the Stanley Cup around St. Louis. And also I want to show this photo so I could blow your minds with the stat of the day quickly if I can. So Matthew Tkachuk, I found out in Tahoe, it was very important to him to take this Stanley Cup to his hometown in St. Louis. And there were all these adorable videos. He went to his elementary school. He went to his local fire department. He went to his local police department. He actually went to a brewery as well. Do we have the video of Matthew Tkachuk and the student? This is just wholesome content. Do we have that? We do not. All right. Do we have the photo of Matthew Tkachuk with a Heisman Trophy? Do we have that?
Maybe.
We have a photo right here of him in a school.
All right. Thank you. The frustrations do get amplified when you're in front of this microphone. So I kind of feel Dan a little bit there. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to deliver on the wholesome content. I figured the week's been uplifting enough that it would be overkill if I just decided to put a timeline cleanse on you. But I am going to post this photo up real quick as part of his tour of St. Louis. Matthew Tkachuk, I guess he's neighbors. If you zoom in quickly, I'm not going to ask you to, video. I know I've already put you in a spot, but that's Chris Winke's Heisman Trophy. That I guess Chris Winke's in that St. Louis area, so it's a real cool photo. Matthew Tkachuk posing with Lord Stanley and the Heisman Trophy. But it does bring a stat. You don't have to do stat of the day. I don't want the short one.
Was he the one that was in bed with the Stanley Cup like 2 days ago?
He was in bed.
It seems really uncomfortable. Like the Stanley Cup takes up so much of that bed.
Well, it's a big bed.
If you had to sleep with any trophy,
it'd be that one. College football national title.
The Super Bowl trophy is very sleek and smooth.
Yeah.
There's no jagged edges.
So here's the stat that I want to tell everybody, and I think it's a good one. So as we saw there, throw it back up. The Heisman Trophy of Chris Winke and Matthew Tkachuk. Matthew Tkachuk, a veteran of the NHL, he's on his second team, finally wins Lord Stanley. When Chris Winke won that Heisman Trophy over there, which is presented to the most outstanding player in college football, Matthew Tkachuk is presently 2.5 years younger than Chris Winke was when he won that trophy.
That feels impossible.
Wait, what?
Matthew Tkachuk is 26 years old. Chris Winke was 28 years old when he won the Heisman Trophy.
That's crazy. That's a crazy stat.
I'd say I delivered.
That's crazy.
Right.
It was worth it. It was worth it.
Yeah, Chris, it was worth it. Boom. All right, we bring on Adnan and David Samson. Great to see you, gentlemen. We've talked a lot about movies. We talked a lot about disaster movies this week. We're really excited for Twisters and Glenn Powell's career. But I have to acknowledge the elephant in the room here. Apparently, David got freezing cold taked by our show. An old take of David Samson with regards to an Odell Beckham Jr. lawsuit against Nike. That whole take in that video just that has reappeared on people's timelines with the result of the lawsuit. So, David, I'm going to give you like 15 seconds here to defend yourself and apply context.
Read the article. OBJ did not win the lawsuit. All I said in the clip was that he would not get a penny from Nike, and he did not get a penny from Nike. The jury came back. How it came back on people's timeline, I don't know, but no one's reading the articles. So everyone's calling me out saying that's the worst take ever. Well, no. In fact, I got it exactly right back in 2022. OBJ would not prevail over Nike and would not get $1.
So the way it's being reported or aggregated is that Odell Beckham Jr. just won $20 million from Nike.
It's literally wrong. That's not actually what happened in the lawsuit at all. Well, OBJ, the problem is he posted on Instagram that he won the lawsuit. I guess his lawyers didn't tell him what happened.
So here's the clip in question from 2 years ago. Let's throw that up, video.
He doesn't care about other athletes. He's doing it on behalf of his own bank account. And here's how nervous Nike is about the lawsuit. 0. Because that's the amount of money Beckham will get.
Well, I guess, can you technically argue that you've won $20 million when the direct result of your lawsuit is that you don't have to lose $20 million? I mean, it's like $20 million in your pocket, right? Or at least $20 million that stays in your pocket.
Okay, I'm wrong. Old takes exposed.
It's so hard to get you to admit that you're wrong, so we'll take that dub. Hey, Adnan, how's it going? Now, historically, we give you the entire segment to do a top 5, and then David Samson has like 45 seconds to rattle through his. So I'd like to keep honoring that tradition. Take your time with your top 5, and welcome aboard. A belated Happy Canada Day to you, Adnan. Great to see you. I will say on the front end, or I will ask you on the front end, it seems as though disaster movies are starting to make a little bit of a comeback, and this was a great nostalgic bit for us that got lucky enough to experience big box office cinema in the 1990s. Are you yourself excited for Twisters?
I am. Great to see you as always, Mike. Love the Cale Makar shirt, by the way. Non-Panthers related, but just proving again your hockey bona fides. Fantastic. A perennial Norris Trophy winner, so love that look. Listen, man, Twisters is supposed to be fantastic. It's getting rave reviews. What do you want? A summer blockbuster. Good-looking people, big-time action, some cheesy jokes. It looks like we're going to get that with Twisters. And I'm with you on Glenn Powell, who is having a moment. He was fantastic in Hitman, which is on Netflix. Of course, Richard Linklater's film. Of course, he's handsome, but he's also funny and charming and intelligent. And I think Glenn Powell is going to be the next big thing as far as leading men are concerned.
I think he's going to be a little overexposed, but we'll see. But this movie, I'll watch it, but I can't say that I'm excited because I am all about Paxton. I'm all about Hunt. I'm not quite all about Powell.
Love Philip Seymour Hoffman in the original, too. PSH, amazing. All right.
Oh, wait. You have to rewatch the 1996 Twister because Philip Seymour Hoffman, an actor's actor, Philip Seymour Hoffman, drawn to great roles. No character depth whatsoever with this character in Twister. 95% of his dialogue is just being excited, screaming, "Woo!" and playing music.
Early on, Mike, you got to take any role you can, right? He was great in Scent of a Woman. It was dark. I didn't have my glasses on. He's great. 4 years later, Twister. Then you get into Boogie Nights and Magnolia and, of course, Capote. But yeah.
What about The Big Lebowski?
Big Lebowski, fantastic. Great. One scene. So funny.
Yeah. All right. So now that we've done that, let's explain to the audience the top 5 that we have here. I wish they would tie in a little bit more to Twisters, honestly. It would have been a great top 5 disaster movies, and you know exactly what would be my number 1. I'd put The Town on Alert with Dante's Peak. But Adnan,
Here's Brosnan.
Yeah, put The Town on Alert.
I want David to explain the segment idea because it was his creation. I like the idea. Go ahead, David.
If I'd known you were going to talk Twisters, we could have done top 5 disaster movies, but Bob Newhart passed away yesterday, and to honor Bob Newhart, a legend, an absolute legend, we wanted to do the top 5 movies that can involve or do involve dreams or dream sequences as a callback to how his show ended as being nothing but a dream in one of the classic endings in the history of television. So that's what our top 5 is about. Rest in peace, Bob.
All right, we begin with Adnan, and here's the promise sounder.
Put the town on alert.
I later found out that wasn't actually Pierce Brosnan, and that was me, and it threw me through a loop.
That was you?
That was me. I thought it was Pierce Brosnan the entire time.
Way.
Put the town on alert.
Well done.
It's very good.
I wonder the last time, Mike, somebody mentioned Dante's Peak to Pierce Brosnan. I think if you mentioned it, he would be elated. He would be so happy.
Put the town on alert.
Okay, number 5, we have La La Land. Okay, Sound didn't really like that one. Okay, there is, of course, the dream sequence.
It's actually Moonlight. It's actually Moonlight.
Yeah, Moonlight was Best Picture. There we go. Let's redeem ourselves. La La Land, of course, great jazz film. Damien Chazelle's movie. Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone. The final sequence, it's a real whirling dervish, wild camera movement, etc. choreography, as it ends up being a dream sequence of what Gosling hopes his life could have been. I think it's a wonderful dream sequence. La La Land is a Hollywood dream in so many ways. David, it's my number 5.
I hope 4 is better.
Number 4.
I love La La Land, but terrible.
Number 4, Dream Scenario.
That's a new movie.
Exactly.
Lucy, that's a new movie.
Exactly. Nobody can mock us for, as far as our old takes. The movie came out last year. Mike Ryan and I, huge Nick Cage fans. It's demented. I mean, he's this nebbish character, balding, bearded, who shows up in people's dreams. And at first, it's kind of funny and amusing. He's just this unassuming character. But then it gets very dark. He becomes a malevolent character. He becomes hated by people. It becomes an allegory for cancel culture. Dream Scenario. Great Nick Cage performance. I loved it.
Have either of you seen Longlegs yet? Jeremy gave it a glowing review. How many Maple Leafs?
I'm giving it 3 Maple Leafs, Mike. I just saw it in Texas, actually, when I was there for the All-Star game, the movie studio where you press a button and they deliver food to you. It's a little food.
Alamo Draft House?
Yeah, there you go. Well done. Yeah. They brought me the brisket sliders, and I enjoyed that with a side of fries rather than popcorn and milk duds. But Nick Cage only in the film 12 minutes, much like Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal Lecter. You got to keep the killer at bay, much like the shark in Jaws. You rarely see him, but he was great, as always entertaining and creepy, unnerving film.
All right, let's move on.
Number 3 is The Matrix. Listen, no, who's going to quit? Go ahead.
That's not a dream movie. That's not a dream sequence. In
I
fact,
don't think any of these have been dream movies.
Yeah, like what was the dream? Because there's a real world in it.
Yeah, so to me, it's a dreamlike situation, dreamlike atmosphere.
I'm challenging the play. Not a dream movie.
Okay, if you want to put a flag on that one, that's fine. Number 2, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. You have to have your memories erased from the past, all these dreams, this wonderful romance that Kate Winslet that Jim Carrey had. Stop laughing, Samson. This is a great movie. You love it too. Eternal Sunshine. Dream movie.
Adnan, I'm usually such a fan of your top fives, and I think you just blew this assignment. You just didn't understand it whatsoever. That is not a dream movie. That is a lot like The Matrix.
Okay.
This is a fantastical altered reality, but it's not like Jim Carrey woke up at the end of the movie. That's what makes a dream movie. Someone waking up at the end going, I guess it was all a dream.
I'm glad you said it, Mike, because it sets up our number one, The Wizard of Oz. Right? Judy Garland wakes up. It was all a dream. This is all just a bit.
True.
That is a dream movie. It's one of the greatest movies of all time. We redeem the list of The Wizard of Oz. Tell me I'm wrong, Samson.
No, it's nice to show that your courage. That's really great, Adnan. That's a hell of a list.
For tradition, we have left 90 seconds on the clock for David Samson to rattle
Mike, I have
through
to
it.
correct you. Are you doing a thing? Because we always do the opposite. Samson takes up the whole time.
Oh,
and we
really?
leave no time for Adnan.
No,
I love that Mike how much you like this segment.
It's like,
oh, really?
wow,
man, I'm so sorry.
Mike flips it when he does it. It's great.
No,
I assumed, Mike, you were doing a bit.
No. I'm not doing a bit. I'm just genuinely like totally thrown throughout space and time and living in my own dream scenario.
Long week.
I ruined a baby shower yesterday, but like I ruined a surprise baby shower by saying, "Hey, I gotta go. I got a thing," and I did have a thing, but the thing was a haircut. So
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna go see a doctor now after this show. I swear to God. That is
if there was
terrible.
ever any doubt that Mike likes my list more than Samson, there's your answer. Go ahead, Davis. Give us 5
I'm gonna be quick, which is some people remember from last week is not uncommon. Number 5, Total Recall.
Terrible.
Great movie.
There is
The
something
original.
about this chair.
With Schwarzenegger. Number 4, Edge of Tomorrow. Tom Cruise. Number 3, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
How are they gonna?
Read the book, watch the movie. Do me a favor.
You
Number
guys,
2.
you can slow down a little bit, David.
They're
We're
apparently
good on
doing a
time.
sequel to Edge of Tomorrow, which has since been renamed Live, Die, Repeat. If it was all a dream, how do they make a sequel? Is he just going to fall asleep again?
Keep dreaming.
Okay.
I loved Emily Blunt and I love Tom Cruise. But my number 2 is what I want to focus on. It's a movie called Click.
Bravo. Bravo,
Click with
David.
Adam
I know that
Sandler. He
one.
wakes up.
That's weak. Adam
Great.
Sandler.
Oh,
If you can't take that seriously, you have a
Makes
problem.
me cry. We've all fallen
Me too,
asleep on a
every
Bed
time.
Bath and Beyond bed. We've all done it.
And the number 1 movie that's a dream about dreams, I don't know where you were on this, Adnan, Inception.
It's a great film. There's no question. I just thought it was a little bit of an obvious choice. But yes, Inception, great movie. Last shot, open-ended. I'm with you. Good choice. And Total Recall, by the way, one of the great lines ever. Baby, you miss... No, forget it. I'm going to screw it up. Go ahead.
Wow.
Whoa, that's an ending.
My goodness. Ejected on that
That's
one.
what you get for letting Adnan go first.
That is what I get. I am definitely going to put my neurologist on alert, though, after this.
Put the neurologist on alert.
Put the neurologist on alert.
I want to hear more about this baby shower that Mike completely kamikaze. That's
there's
great.
Mystery Crate.
Trust me, you don't.
Mystery Crate is coming up. All right, thank you, fellas. Thank you for your time. I am genuinely going to call my insurance company right now and see what's covered and what's not.
I thought it was a bit. Thanks, guys.
That's how it starts, man. You screw up one segment, next thing you just like are feeding 24 cats. There really isn't a huge bridge between those two events. I'm deeply concerned right now for mixing that all up. You think I'm just okay? Like it's just a common mistake?
I don't listen to their segments either. Don't worry about it.
Lucy, you've actually like, even though you didn't do like the Twisters attraction, you were in that like tornado corridor in the Midwest. Do you have any experiences?
Yeah, the tornadoes, it was so when I first moved to Iowa, which I'm not from Iowa. That's a very common mistake, and I totally get it. I'm from North Carolina. We would get some tornadoes in North Carolina, but not regularly. So when I first went to school in Iowa, I remember the first time that like the sirens went off and we had to go into like the tunnels underneath the dorm, and I'm like freaking out, having a panic attack.
How much heads up did you have between like warning?
You'll get the weather forecast and you'll get alerts. So you're just like, hey,
you'll get what?
Like alert. Put the town on alert. Blah blah blah. I get it.
Put the town on alert.
And then so we would go. So you probably have like 20. An hour before whether.
Wow. See, in 1996's Twister, they only had
3
minutes.
You had 3 minutes, and maybe Dorothy can take us to 15.
Okay, so I've never seen that movie. I'll go see the new one, probably, potentially, maybe. I don't know. I say that no.
You're not.
I know
doing
I'm not going to do it.
Well, do you have any travel plans this weekend?
Yes.
You no longer have travel plans.
So wait, but my question back to Twisters is how long did the Twister last?
Well, so
about 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's not typical.
Well, sometimes like for the F3, it went away and then respawned directly on top of them. The Extreme had such great instincts. Like he knew. Like Kerry always had all this science and stuff like that, but he was like,
he had the gut feeling.
Yeah, that's why he's Bill Paxton. But what I'm saying is you definitely don't have travel plans anymore because of this Microsoft outage, Lucy. The Stanley Cup was supposed to be with Calaposo today, and that event has been canceled. He rented out an arena because the Stanley Cup is stuck in St. Louis because of the Microsoft outage that has affected all sorts of travel. It is a terrible weekend to want to go anywhere. So
I saw a picture of the sphere with the Microsoft thing, but I don't know if it was photoshopped. It easily could have been photoshopped. I'll never do the research to figure out if it was or not.
Roy, this is bad news for all your computers at home.
Ah, crap.
It's the funniest take and I get it. Like I know some people in my life that are like, we're not doing anything with Apple, but then they just give all their business to Microsoft and Google as if they're teaching big tech a lesson.
I have a question.
We'll show them.
I have a question for Roy. Roy,
what?
If you're wearing a Mick Overrated shirt, is that you co-signing what Greg Cody said?
Oh, wow.
No, it's just me wearing a nice shirt that looks good.
That's a cosign.
Yeah, I feel like
Did you pay for that shirt?
Yes, I paid for it.
Then you co-sign.
That's a cosign.
Roy, you're supposed to be an
What?
impartial
Double
member of
standard.
the hockey media.
Am I
Do
going
the
to wear this
hockey
at a
show.
hockey game? No.
You're
Well, I
wearing
mean,
it on
you're
a
making
show
a statement.
that
Yeah, but
airs
wearing
in
it.
LaGuardia Airports on mute.
I'm also wearing a wearless cap. So what?
The hockey show is being recorded today, no?
You're wearing this
Yes.
for the hockey show.
Yes, I'm also wearing a jacket that I can actually zip up.
But why would you wear that and zip it up? I don't understand.
You made the decision. I'm going to go on the computer. I'm going to click on a link. I'm going to purchase
Yes.
this thing.
Yes.
I'm going to get it sent to my house.
Yes.
You think he's overrated?
No, I just think the shirt looks nice. That's all.
I'm
Buy a
slightly
regular
concerned.
Oilers shirt. It's the same logo.
I'm worried about the
Not
fallout
really.
for you, to be perfectly honest with you.
The
'Cause,
fallout.
You didn't want to drink from Lord Stanley's cup on the night that the Panthers won because you said you didn't want to get in trouble with the hockey world and you didn't want to get banned and all that stuff. But here you are wearing a Mick Overrated shirt, which is probably more damaging and less understandable.
It's not more damaging. Those are two completely separate things. I would lose my credential probably for next year from the Panthers if I did that. So, no.
I think that there's an understanding vibe when that's going on. I think that they would understand if you drank from the cup. If someone offered you to drink from the cup, I think they'd get it.
It is. You just don't film it and put it out there. No one's going to be like, that guy looks like he drank out of the cup. Because
Yeah.
if that was the case, then you might as well drink.
I mean, you're
had
drinking
drink
at a
from it
bar
anyway.
anyways. What difference does it make? It's
Yeah,
a
like,
drinking
I'm-
thing.
It's a different type of cup. though.
I'm going to judge you for like how drunk you were in the post-game celebration. Not because, well, I'm judging you right now because you made the sober decision to wear that shirt. You have picked some enemies in the game of hockey.
Have
Went
I?
to right to the top of the food chain with Sidney
Really?
Crosby and Connor McDavid. Very strange. But just cycle back to Lucy. So you get your 20 minutes now. Thank you to Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt for all their great advancements in science. You have 20 minutes now to get out of the way. I feel like that's boring. Do you have to go into a storm cellar?
So I actually sent a picture to Video Dump if they'd like to show it of one of the tornadoes.
That's
that
a dicey
I saw.
proposition
Yeah,
today.
I'm a little nervous. You don't really need to see it. It's just a tornado. So as I lived in Iowa longer and just got more used to the storms,
How often would this happen?
a couple times a year, a lot during the summer. So this was outside my apartment once. I would push it. I would stand on my porch, full dad, arms
Like the
this.
extreme?
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're chucking a bottle of Jack Daniels that'll never come down.
I'm just watching it because it's really, really cool to see. It's terrifying, and you've seen the damage that these tornadoes can do, and I don't want to
Temperature
trivialize-
drops?
Yeah, the temperature drops. I don't want to trivialize it at all because it's deadly and very, very dangerous. But there was one year at Iowa where a tornado went right through a sorority house. Wow, crazy.
Do you guys ever play the game that cloud looks like this? Can we put that picture back up of the cloud? Because there's two clouds here. There's the bluish part and then the gray. The gray looks like the alien face. Yeah. Do you guys see that? It looks like the...
Oh, yeah.
It does.
The popcorn bucket.
Oh, my God. It looks like the popcorn bucket. That's terrifying.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm not trivializing. I'm not going to trivialize it either. But do you remember when Stugotz? Wow, my brain.
How's
might
it going?
actually-
You okay?
You
Wow.
were struggling with trivialize too.
Yeah,
Having a stroke?
Need a cup of
trivialize.
coffee? You want to get a cup of coffee?
Okay, so do you remember when Roy indirectly? Well, he directly quoted Twister. He just had no idea when he was doing it.
I
because he was-
remember.
the context was that a tornado touched down in his neighborhood, and he directly quoted Twister by saying word for word, "You've never seen it miss this house and that house and come straight after you." And he just kept moving as if he didn't directly quote Twister, and we called him out on it, and he's like, "I guess I did."
Yeah. I didn't know at the time. I'm glad you pointed it out.
Yeah. So I know that you don't necessarily go to a secondary ticket marketplace, but I imagine the demand for Twisters is through the roof.
I'm Bill Paxton.
Through the roof. And say, hey, if there were a secondary ticket marketplace for movies, I imagine Game Time would be the industry leader in that too. Because Game Time, for me, is the top of the heap when it comes to the secondary ticket marketplace, because anytime I need a ticket and I'm in a pinch and it's in demand, I go there first because I know they got the low price guarantee, seller customer service. I can see what my seat looks like. I love this app, and I implore you to download the Game Time app, create an account, use code Dan for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. I love that low price guarantee. That is the Game Time app. Support us and Game Time by using that promo code Dan. Chris Cody.
Oh, are we going to do a sports topic? Because I got one.
I wasn't going to do a sports
never mind.
topic. I was going to do how you saved your bowling league, but we can do a sports topic. That is sports adjacent. You were supposed to be a part of the Tony Show.
Yes.
And you were supposed to compete in our best ball draft,
Yep.
which
I heard Cynthia kind of ruined it for me, but it's fine.
No, some
I can't complain.
She did a
I
good
wasn't
job.
here.
so
She
but
took Jalen Hurts first round.
I mean, come on. It's best ball.
It was a bad pick. It was a bad pick. But you missed this, which we had been planning for a while. And your reason was, I got to go bowling. And my whole thought was well, this has been calendared, and bowling night is also calendared. I thought you made the decision to skip bowling night and support Tony.
I did, and then I got text from my dad and my father-in-law and my brother. So it was only going to be my buddy Anthony there. And the way the bowling league works, if you don't have two people show up, you lose points. Basically, we didn't win anything. We avoided getting eliminated from championship contention. If he was the only bowler, if we had one bowler, we would have gotten eliminated from championship contention. So I had to
Can I read the
show
text
up for the boys.
Can I read the text that Chris sent me?
Yes.
He said, "Dude, I'm really sorry, but with my dad and father-in-law not making it to bowling tonight, my team will forfeit and get eliminated from being able to win it all if I don't go. Someday I'll make it to an MMA hangout or Tony show."
Well, did you catch any of the Tony Show?
What?
Did you catch any of it?
I did. I tuned in. I did. I caught some
seen
of it.
it?
I saw of it.
Yeah. Well, we'll appreciate your 15 seconds. That all just goes to a view. That's a view. I appreciate that.
No, I definitely tuned in.
But did you know what went down?
I kept hearing. I turned in pretty late, and
kept
I heard,
hearing this.
Down on alert.
and I was like, "Where's Mike around still saying it?" But they were playing that clip every 20 minutes.
How did the Packers
throughout
do
the
it?
night? I saw that clip.
Yeah, we can recap it for you though, and for anybody else that missed it, Tony, it was your show after all. Can
It
you
was
be helpful.
We had a blast. We did a best ball draft. Shout out to DraftKings for hooking us up with that. That was an awesome little hour that we did that draft. And then
Really
we
got me
played-
juiced up for football season.
I'm telling you, best ball. People were discovering best ball for the first time, like during the draft. Everybody loved it. It might be the new wave of the future for fantasy sports. We'll get to that in a second. And then we did a mascot-themed NCAA 2006 tournament in which I won and I beat Taylor 35-14 in the final. It was not even close. I ran the power I straight fullback and halfback dive for 300 yards up the middle of the field. Taylor could do nothing to stop it. So we
It's
had
the
that.
Tony Show.
Thank you.
So I appreciate that recap there, Tony. And now, see, look how much you missed. You missed that. You missed a really in-depth Packers recap. I wonder how they do it.
It was Ethan's night.
It really was. It was a night
his
he
coming out
became a
party,
star.
to be honest.
Yeah. But you mentioned that you have a sports topic.
Is Brandon Ayuk good enough to request a trade? That's what I want to know.
Brandon Ayuk is really good.
ESPN had him at number 10. It's just like, where's the line on when we just say you're not good enough to request a trade? It's not Brandon Ayuk, as you're telling me the line is below him.
Well, what's going on with San Francisco overall? Because it's been kind of like a cat and mouse game with all their receivers, where everybody except the guy that's actually in the show receiver, who technically I guess is a receiver, but is really a tight end. He's the only one that hasn't requested a trade or had rumors surrounding him. I guess they're in a bad cap situation. What's the deal? Because they shouldn't be in a bad cap situation because the quarterback position is dirt cheap for them. I guess their backup quarterback makes so much more money than their starter. Is this Christian McCaffrey's contract? What is he unhappy with? He very clearly wants a new deal. But Brandon Ayuk, who I have to remind myself, played college ball with Jaden Daniels. And because Brandon Ayuk feels like he's been in the league forever. By the way, Tony, have you played CFB 20? You've played CFB 25.
Of course.
So you go through these teams, and you'd be shocked to see the kids of NFL players that are playing with teams. Nate Burleson II is playing for Nevada.
Really?
Eugene Wilson III is playing for Florida. I thought at some point, like so many players might have opted out, that they just started creating guys that had a lineage to like these schools. But no, Nate Burleson II is actually like a Nevada receiver. I've been told that I say Nevada wrong.
Nevada?
It's Nevada?
It's Nevada, yep.
Okay, I thought it's not a tomato thing.
I've always thought it was.
So this
Nevada,
is like
Nevada.
a Louisville thing where people that feel like
They
really
get
passionate.
really. I don't even try. I won't even say that school/town name because every time I say it, people get really angry with me.
Or Oregon and Oregon.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know anyone who says Oregon.
So it's Nevada.
It's Nevada.
I like it my way better.
It's your Miami guys who say
Nevada.
That's how I feel about Appalachian. When people say Appalachian, I hate it.
Yeah.
It's Appalachian.
Well,
To
I'll try
answer your
correct
question
that.
on the 49ers, by the way, it seems like Ayuk is just frustrated that they've extended other players and not gotten him his money yet. So I think Debo signed a contract a couple years ago. Christian McCaffrey got an extension. Juwan Jennings, another receiver on the team, already signed a contract at a bigger number for next year. And so he wants his money after a great statistical season. He's 26 years old. This is the time to capitalize on it. And he's just not getting the offer from them that he wants.
26 years old and played with Jaden Daniels in college. That's another mind bender a little bit. This is the last of the COVID years, though. So I think like all that stuff goes away after this year. Although you're going to have guys sticking around in college a hell of a lot more now with NIL.
Cam Rising.
That's right, Cam Rising.
He's coming back this year.
He's coming back this year. How old is
Year
Cam
12,
Rising?
I believe.
I think Cam Rising might be older than Matthew Tkachuk.
He's 25. He was born in 1999.
What about
so you're
Austin?
He's
close.
a year younger than me.
What about Austin
That's
Hooper?
crazy.
Austin Hooper. All right, so this has been not a good show for me in terms of getting things wrong. I'm deeply concerned. Got to double up on the ginkgo. But how do you pronounce this singer's name? Is it Bibi Rexha?
I thought it was Raja.
I've always heard.
I've heard
no,
Rex.
but
I've
no,
always
because
heard Rex.
You thought it was
no,
what?
No, listen.
no idea.
No, it's like
Listen,
We're listening.
please.
Well, I'm just you're young.
No, you're
so
not.
I'm-
You're
I'm-
not listening though, because you're talking.
But I'm trusting.
Do you see how that's conflicting with one another?
That is a great way to shut somebody
Thank
up.
you. I went to a school with a girl named Annie Raja, and she said that she was her cousin. I don't believe that, so I always just called her BB Raja because Annie Raja said that they were related.
Was it spelled the same way?
Exact same way.
Well, I trust Annie.
But I
then.
think is BB Armenian? Because that's what Annie was Armenian. So maybe they are related. I don't know. So I always said it that way because of Annie. And aren't you glad you listened to that?
You systematically took me out to the point that I'm afraid of talking, both because of how efficient that was and also because I don't trust my brain today.
Welcome to my world.
She's Albanian.
So
Yeah, no, just kidding. I think Annie was Albanian.
And from North Macedonia.
That's not where Annie's from.
Well, I feel a little bit better about myself now. So if that was the end game, thank you, Spence.
Her father was born in Debar and part of Yugoslavia.
I don't know Annie that well, so I don't.
Oh, wait. It sells? No, it's still Albanian. Sorry.
Maybe they're like I don't think they were like really like immediate family, but maybe like second cousins or something. So I don't listen to her music, nor do I ever talk about her or think about her ever.
Well,
But
here's
I
where
always thought it was Raja because of Annie.
Google says Rexa.
Rexa.
Okay, well, Annie
It
says
does.
Raja.
And the first name, BB?
Yes, BB.
But,
Bebe.
It's actually Bleda, but
it looks like Bebe. Because I have a friend named BB, and it's BIBI, not BEBE. But
the store BB was pronounced B, or was spelled BEBE, but was pronounced BB.
Okay, so BB Rexa, I believe, 4 years older than Austin Hooper. She's 34 years
Yeah,
old.
she's 34.
She's been doing this for a minute.
For a little while.
It's most people, when you have a huge pop hit and you kind of burst on the scene, people kind of tend to ignore like how long you've been on the scene. But she's been grinding for a while.
Speaking of pop hits, I had something happen the other day, and it's actually related to Glenn Powell. So I was watching the movie Anyone But You.
Bad movie.
And yeah, not a great movie. But if you've watched it, one of the constant themes throughout is the song Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield.
This is a trope of rom-coms everywhere. Find a song that people have a feeling to, and it just helps you get a little further into the film.
Well, so this is interesting, right? Because after any movie I watch, I end up Googling the cast, Googling the director, the writer, whatever, and I see what they do. And so I was looking at the director of this movie. His name is Will Gluck, and looking back through the movies that he'd done before. And one of them was Easy A.
The
movie
Emma
with
Stone
Emma
vehicle.
Stone.
Good movie.
And if you remember,
You
that
saw how
movie,
I pounced and I said Emma Stone because I'm trying to challenge my brain
And know who's in
to
what.
make sure I'm still here.
Classic
Emily
Amanda
Stone.
Bynes.
You know, she wants to go by Emily now.
She does. That's her name.
Is that a
Red flag.
That's for real?
She mentioned
Because some other actor had Emily Stone, so that's why she went with Emma Stone originally. But now she's like, everyone's always called me in my life Emily, but I had to be Emma because of the way the.
I'm very proud of your retention because we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Me? Yeah.
Oh,
Never mind. I thought that you were just recalling the conversation.
I might not have been here. Was I here?
Okay,
you were bowling.
never mind.
Are you guys?
I rescind my
hold on. What is
pride in
happening
you.
right now? You can't.
least you tried.
can't mess around with me. Right
Nothing.
now.
I don't remember this. Mike is in a bad spot.
No,
I'm
this is
bad
a
place.
real thing.
I'm leaking confidence.
I just heard Emma Stone in an interview on social media saying that recently. I don't remember us talking about that.
Drop the Lee. It's
may
cleaner.
have.
Anyway,
One hit wonder.
Well,
Emma Stone?
in Easy A. Hold on a
Emily
second.
Stone.
Billy, I need your help today.
Emma Lee Stone?
Emily.
I would argue Emma Lee Stone. No hit wonder at the moment.
Bad Emily's.
So in Easy A song that is a constant in that is Pocket Full of Sunshine, also by Natasha Bedingfield. So very weird that the same director 14 years apart used two different Natasha Bedingfield songs as a through line in his movie.
Playing the hits.
But
The
what it,
Bedingfields together have 3 hits.
but what it made me think of was that Natasha Bedingfield has 2 hits. She has Unwritten and she has Pocket Full of Sunshine. And if I came to you with Natasha Bedingfield as the best 2-hit wonder. We know about 1-hit wonders, but not a lot of people get to have 2 gigantic songs and then basically drop off the face of the earth in terms of making more music. So if I came to you with Natasha Bedingfield as the greatest 2-hit wonder,
Wow.
are there any other 2-hit wonders that come to mind?
The Beatles.
How dare you?
Now I know Lucy's messing with me, but okay.
Blues Traveler. Run Around and Hook.
Oh, come on. You
I've
don't know those
never
songs.
heard of that.
The Runaround, I know.
person.
Runaround.
I know Runaround. There's like a song. There's a song about mountains that was
It's
in a
one of
beer
those things, though.
commercial
Like,
that
if
Blue
you don't
Traveler
know
had.
the song by its title, is it really another hit? Because there's a lot of artists where you could argue on the charts. Sure, that song did well, but if you don't know it off the top of your head, you're not really.
I got a
gonna
good
know it.
one.
You got one?
This is not me. This is Reddit, but Tone Loc, Wild Thing, Funky Cold Medina.
Great
Yeah, that's
nomination.
great.
Great,
That's-
because you don't
that's
even know
excellent.
that Tone Loc exists for the most part, but you know both of those songs.
Yeah,
And
No,
those are
people
those
know
are
Tone
I
two
Loc,
hits.
think you don't know the time.
Well, no.
You're too young for
You're
Tone Loc.
young. You don't even
That's
remember
what it
Ace
is.
Ventura: Pet Detective?
I mean, I don't.
Man, look up Jim Carrey's '94. By the way, my God, pa. All right, so who else is a two-hit wonder?
I mean, that's the question I'm coming to you guys with. Is I have Natasha Bedingfield as the best example of it. We were going through the other day, a couple of the folks in the other room. We were talking about some of the artists from the early 2000s. Someone said Cisco as an option.
Well, wait? Cisco
Right.
is tricky because as a featured artist, he had hits, and also he was a part of Drew Hill.
Right, this is
So
the
what
part
are the
that's
ground
difficult.
rules?
So you're trying to find either as a solo artist or an individual band. Someone brought up the Plain White Tees, but I think it's difficult because Hey There Delilah is such a bigger hit than any of the other
What's the
songs
second
that they
hit?
had. They had that song 1 2 3 4 that was on the radio. See, Lucy knows it.
What is-
so
how does
maybe
that
it
one go?
depends on your age.
Sing it.
O-Town
I can't sing it.
O-Town, Liquid Dreams.
Oh, wait,
and
it's,
All or Nothing.
It's
Wow, the writing on All or
1, 2,
Nothing.
3, like that.
Yeah, well done.
My girl
I
Cook.
think that's right.
Vanilla Ice had Ice Ice Baby and the Ninja Turtles song.
Yeah.
Come on.
That the Ninja Turtles.
That-
Are you here to say the Ninja Turtles song was not a good song?
It was not a hit.
It was
Pretty
absolutely
Ricky,
a
two-hit
hit.
wonder.
So
Pretty Ricky's a good
Pretty
song.
Ricky and the Mavericks. So that O-Town Liquid Dream song is pretty disgusting. It's just about nocturnal emissions. And the way that they avoided saying wet dreams was just liquid dreams. It's the same exact thing. But I heard it not too long ago. I'm like, okay, this is a little catchy. But All or Nothing at All just is hugely infuriating to me.
Why? It's a great song.
They rhyme all with all.
So
If you can't see why that bothers me.
Cutting Crew. They have I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight and I've Been in Love Before.
Look
I
up
don't know the
Berlin.
second one.
Berlin had Take My Breath Away. I feel like Berlin had another one that was kind of a banger.
Looking it up.
Not the city.
Air Supply.
No
All
more
Out of
words.
Love. And what else? What's
The other one. The other one they have.
No, I'm
You
sure
know
Air
it.
Supply
You
does.
know it. You know it.
No, I'm sure Air Supply does qualify. But I'm struggling today, and I need your help. Roy, I feel like you'd be really good at this game.
I'm thinking of some R&B singers right now, but I can't really find.
what were
any.
the Beatles' two songs?
Hey Jude and Yesterday. Those are the two
Help!
I pick.
I need
Never,
somebody.
never heard of it. Don't know.
It's harder to be a one-hit wonder these days. But
I would argue the opposite.
Really?
Yeah,
TikTok.
I think because of TikTok, there are so many artists that one part of their song becomes part of a trend and it skyrockets and everybody listens to that one song but never even learns either the rest of that song or any other music by that artist. So they end up having a chart-topping hit, but I think like one-hit wonder, I think the reason that this was interesting to me is like a two-hit wonder is such a rarity in that, look at us, we can't even come up with several, but there's so many one-hit wonders. People that had that the Jay Giles Band had Centerfold, and like there are so many one-hit wonders, but the two-hit wonder, it's a mystery.
And I'm probably going to get fried for this, but I was shocked to learn Hozier is like a headliner.
Dude, I've seen him
Take
3
me to
times.
church.
He's so
great.
popular.
He's hugely popular.
Super
but
popular.
I
Yeah,
just
you're
like
right.
know the one song.
Yeah, well, you should learn more.